We got Nick in Chicago.
Hi.
How you doing, Nick?
Good. I actually don't have a question anymore. You guys just discussed it.
Oh, well, what else?
Thanks for calling.
Off the top of your head, what you want to throw anything out off the top of your head?
I guess if you could expand on the idea of, well, you were talking about the benefits of the God virus in terms of religion. What about in terms of non-religion God beliefs, people that are irreligious, which is who still believe in God, which is a growing group of people, I think.
You're right, and it's a growing group of people, and they're very slippery because whenever you say, well, religion does this or that, they'll say, well, I don't believe God has a religion, I just believe in God. I think they're pretty benign. Some of them are kind of new agey kind of people. Others go to churches that are evangelical, and they say, well, I'm not religious, I believe I'm godly, kind of a thing. I kind of look at where they're coming from to assess whether this is a more parasitic or less parasitic belief in God. But there are some real parasitic God beliefs, and there's some that are more benign, if you will. I think the Wiccans, pagans, they believe in some kind of a supernatural, whether you call it God or whatever. They seem to be pretty darn benign, and I don't get too concerned about Wiccans and pagans here in our culture. But I do get real concerned about the evangelicals that say they're not religious. And they're voting.
Yeah, they're voting with the ones who are.
Yeah.
They're on our school board.
Right, they're on our school board. Right.
Yeah.
Which, as a reminder, this being an election year and the State Board of Education being of critical importance in Texas, and what happens in Texas is critically important to people outside of Texas, I encourage everybody to stop by sites like Texas Freedom Network to get information, good information about who's running, what they stand for, and what you can do to change the Texas State Board of Education.
Yeah. TFNinsider.org is the blog to read.
They're doing a great job of keeping everybody informed.
And the thing, in relation to what Nick asked about, there are now, I think, these parasitic memes that are like the God virus, but that are of a secular nature. And these would be things that are starting to crop up in our culture now, like the anti-vaccination movement.
Yes. Oh,
and the 9/11 truth movement, and the birthers, and just whatever crap Glenn Beck talked about tonight that he thinks, the Illuminati is going to come down in its UFO and
we're just going to assume that it was crap
and
because
then
of
it will
a
give
track
birth to
record.
an alien who will then, elect progressives to all the Congress, and then they'll take you over and they'll clone you and just, and it's on my blackboard, so it's true. So all of that kind of stuff, right? So this is now the same sort of irrationality.
Yeah.
That and I think that's really at the heart of all of this is this propensity for irrationality that people have.
Right.
This desire to believe things that are somehow self-validating. Because I don't see how a birtherism or whateverism helps the culture as a whole, other than to make the particular irrational person who believes in it feel validated and therefore smart and smug in that delusion. So.
But it is a meme that is propagating throughout the culture.
Yeah.
And it must have some...
So do you say that do you think it's similar in nature to the God virus? Or?
Well, it's less organized because they come and go. They're like fads, Religion's not as much like a fad because it stays for long periods of time. Although some religions are faddish. You get the Heaven's Gate group, they're all dead, so that's pretty much fad's gone.
Yeah. Kwanzaa is kind of going out of style. So.
It was so good at propagating itself that it killed off everybody. Thanks a lot for calling, Nick. I appreciate it.